Deuteronomy 30. Now, once all these things happen to you, the blessing and the curse that I am setting before you, you must call them to mind as you sit among the various nations where the Lord your God has driven you. And you must return to the Lord your God, obeying his voice, in line with all that I am commanding you right now. You and your children with all your mind and with all your being. Then the Lord your God will restore you as you were before, and will have compassion on you, gathering you up from all the peoples where the Lord your God scattered you. Even if he has driven you to the far end of heaven, the Lord your God will gather you up from there. He will take you back from there. The Lord your God will bring you home to the land that your ancestor possessed. You will possess it again, and he will do good things for you and multiply you, making you more numerous even than your ancestors. Then the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the hearts of your descendants, so that you love the Lord your God with all your mind and with all your being, in order that you may live. The Lord your God will put all these curses on your enemies and on those who hate you and chase you. But you will change and obey the Lord's voice and do all his commandments that I'm commanding you right now. The Lord your God will help you succeed in everything you do in your own fertility, your livestock's offspring, and your land's produce. Everything will be great, because the Lord will once again enjoy doing good things for you, just as he enjoyed doing them for your ancestors, and because you will be obeying the Lord your God's voice, keeping his commandment and his regulations that are written in this instruction scroll, and because you will have returned to the Lord your God with all your heart and all your being. This commandment that I am giving you right now is definitely not too difficult for you. It isn't unreachable. It isn't up in heaven somewhere, so then you have to ask, who will go up for us to heaven and get it for us, that we can hear it and do it? Nor is it across the ocean somewhere, so that you have to ask, who will cross the ocean for us and get it for us, that I can hear it and do it? Not at all. The word is very close to you. It's in your mouth and in your heart, waiting for you to do it. Life and death. Look here. Today I've set before you life and what's good versus death and what's wrong. If you obey the Lord your God's commandment that I'm commanding you right now, by loving the Lord your God, by walking in his ways, and by keeping his commandment, his regulations, and his case laws, then you will live and thrive, and the Lord your God will bless you in the land you are entering to possess. But if you hurt, turns away, and you refuse to listen, and so are misread, worshipping other gods and serving them, I'm telling you right now, then you will definitely die. You will not prolong your life on the fertile land that you are crossing the Jordan River to enter and possess. I call heaven and earth as my witnesses against you right now. I have set life and death, blessing and curse before you. And I choose life so that you and your descendants will live. By loving the Lord your God, by obeying His voice, and by clinging to Him. That's how you will survive and live long on the fertile land the Lord swore to give you to your ancestor, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Deuteronomy 31. Moses announced his death. The Moses said these words to all Israel, telling them, I'm 120 years old today. I can't move around well anywhere anymore. Plus, the Lord told me, you won't cross the Jordan River, but the Lord your God is the one who will cross over before you. He is the one who will destroy these nations before you, so you can displace them. Joshua too will cross over before you, just like the Lord indicated. The Lord will do to these enemies the same thing He did to the Amorite kings Sihon and Og, and to their land. When He destroyed them, the Lord will lay them out before you, and you will do to them exactly what the command I've given you dictated. Be strong, be fearless, don't be afraid, and don't be scared by your enemies, because the Lord your God is the one who marches with you. He won't run you down, and He won't abandon you. Then Moses called Joshua, and with all Israel watching, said to him, be strong and fearless, because you are the one who will lead these people to the land the Lord swore to their ancestors to give to them. You are the one who will divide it up the land for them. But the Lord is the one who is marching before you. He is the one who will be with you. He won't run you down. He won't abandon you. So don't be afraid or scared. Regular reading of the instruction. Then Moses wrote this instruction down and gave it to the priest, the Levites who carried the chest containing the Lord's commandment, and to all of Israel's elders. Moses then commanded them, at the end of 7 years, at the appointed time in the year of debt cancellation, during the festival of booths, when all Israel comes to appear before the Lord your God at the occasion He selects, you must read this instruction loud in the hearing of all the people. Gather everyone, men, women, women, children, and immigrants who live in your cities, in order that they hear it, learn it, and revered Lord your God, carefully doing all the words of this instruction, and so that their children who don't yet know the instruction may hear it and learn to revere the Lord your God for as long as you live on the ground. You are crossing the Jordan River to possess. Joshua commissioned. Then the Lord said to Moses, It's almost time for you to die. Summon Joshua. The two of you must present yourselves at the meeting tent so I can command him. So Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves at the meeting tent. The Lord appeared in the tent in a pillar of cloud. The cloud pillar stood at the tent entrance. The Lord then said to Moses, "Soon you will rest with your ancestors, and the people will rise up and act unfaithfully, going after strange gods of the land they are entering. They will abandon me, breaking my covenant that I made with them. At the point my anger will burn against them, and I will be the one who abandons them. I will hide my face from them. They will become nothing but food for their enemies, and all sort of bad things and misfortunes will happen to them. Then they will say, haven't these terrible things happened to us because our God is no longer with us? But I will hide my face at the time because of the many wrong things they have done, because they have turned to other gods. So in light of all that, you must write down this poem and teach it to the Israelites. Put it in their mouths so that the poem becomes a witness for me against them. When I bring the Israelites to the land, I swear to their ancestors, which is full of milk and honey, and they eat, get full, then fed, and then turn toward other gods, serving them and disrespecting me and breaking my covenant. Then, when all kinds of bad things and misfortunes happen to them, this poem will witness against them, giving its testimony, because it won't be lost from the months of their descendants. Yes, I know right now what they are inclined to do, even before I've brought them into the land I swore." So Moses wrote this poem down that very day, and he taught it to the Israelites. Then the Lord commissioned Joshua, Nun's son, "Be strong and fearless, because you are the one who will bring the Israelites to the land I swore to them. I myself will be with you." Life after Moses. Once Moses had finished writing in their entirety all the words of this instruction scroll, he commanded the Levites who carried the chest containing the Lord's covenant as follows: "Take this instruction scroll and put it next to the chest containing the Lord your God's covenant. It must remain there as a witness against you, because I know how rebellious and hard-headed you are. If you are this rebellious toward the Lord while I'm still alive, it's bound to get worse once I'm dead. Assemble all of your tribes elders and your officers in front of me, so I can speak these words in their hearing, and so I can call heaven and earth as my witness against them, because I know that after I'm dead, you will ruin everything, departing from the path I've commanded you. Terrible things will happen to you in the future, because you will do evil in the Lord's eyes, aggravating him with things your hands have made. The poem of instruction that Moses recited in their entirety. The words of this poem in the hearing of the entire assembly of Israel. Deuteronomy 32. Heaven, pay attention and I will speak. Earth, listen to the words of my mouth. My teaching will fail like raindrops. My speech will settle like dew, like gentle rains on grass, like spring showers on all that is green. Because I proclaim the Lord's name, give praise to our God, the rock. These acts are perfection, no doubt about it. All his ways are right. Is the faithful God, never deceiving, altogether righteous and true is he. But children who weren't his own sinned against him with their defect. They are a twisted and perverse generation. Is this how you thank the Lord? You stupid, senseless people. Isn't he your father, your creator? Didn't he make you and establish you? Remember the days long past. Consider the years long gone. Ask your father, he will tell you about it. Ask your elders, they will give you the details. When God Most High divided up the nations, when he divided up humankind, he decided the people's boundaries based on the number of the gods. Surely the Lord's property was his people. Jacob was his part of the inheritance. God found Israel in a wild and in howling desert wasteland. He protected him, cared for him, watched over him with his very own eye, like an eagle protecting its nest, hovering over its young. God spread out his wings, took hold of Israel, carried him on his back. The Lord alone led Israel. No foreign god assisted. God made Israel glide over the highlands. He fed him with food from the field, nurses him with honey from a bubble, with oil from a hard rock, curds from the herd, milk from the flock, along with the best of lambs, rams from Bashan, he goats all, along with the finest of wheat, and for drink, wine from the juiced grapes. Jacob ate until he was sufficed. Jeshurun got fat and rebellious. It was you who got fat, thick, stubborn. Jeshurun gave up on the God who made him, thought the rock of his salvation was worthless. They made God jealous with strange gods, aggravated him with detestable things. They sacrificed the demons, not to God, to deities of which they had no knowledge, new gods only recently on the scene, once about which your ancestors had never heard. You deserted the rock that served you. You forgot the God who gave birth to you. The Lord saw this and rejected out of aggravation his sons and his daughters. He said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what becomes of them, because they are a confused generation. They are children lacking loyalty. They provoked me with no gods, aggravated me with their pieces of junk. So I am going to provoke them with no people, aggravated them with a nation of fools. A fire burns in me, it will blaze to the depth of the grave. It will destroy the land and its crops. It will blacken the base of the mountains. I will throw on them disaster after disaster. I will destroy them with my arrows. Devastating hunger, consuming plague, bitter keenness. I will send animal fangs after them, venom from dust to crowers too. Outside in the street, the sword will believe. Inside, in the safest room, there will be terror for a young man or a woman, nursing baby and senior citizen. I thought about it. I could have struck them down, erased them from human memory, but their enemies' rage concerned me. Their opponent might misunderstand. They might say, our strong hands, not the Lord, did all this, because they are not a thoughtful nation. They lack any insight. If they had any wisdom, they would understand this. They would discern what will become of them. How could one person chase off 1,000 in battle? How could two people make 10,000 free for their lives? Only because their rock sold them off. Only because the Lord handed them over. But no, their rocks can't compare to our rock. Our enemies are completely stupid. Their roots run straight from Sodom, from the field of Gomorrah. Their grapes are pure poison. Their grape clusters nothing but bitter. Their wine is snake poison, venom from a cruel cobra. I don't have this stored up, sealed in my vault. Revenge is my domain. So it's punishment in kind at the exact moment their step slips up, because the day of their destruction is just around the corner. Their final destiny is being on its way. But the Lord will acquit his people, will have compassion on those who serve him. Once he sees that their strength is all gone, the boss prisoners of free people are wiped out. The Lord will ask, where are the gods, the rocks they're trusted in, who ate up the fat of their sacrifices, who drank their sacred wine? They should stand up and help you. They should protect you now. Now look here. I'm myself. I'm the one. There are no one gods with me. I'm the one who deals death and gives life. I'm the one who wounded, but now I will heal. There's no escaping my hand. But now I'm lifting my hands to heaven. I swear by my own eternity. When I sharpen my blazing sword and my hand grabs hold of justice, I'll pay my enemies back. I'll pay in kind to everyone who hates me. I'll make my arrows drink much blood, while I sword devours fresh the blood of the dead and captured, falling from the head of enemies' generals. Heavens, rejoice with God. O you gods, bow down to the Lord, because he will avenge his children's blood. He will pay back his enemies. He will punish in kind those who hate him. He will cleanse his people's land. So Moses came and recited all the words of his poem, and everyone hearing Joshua and his son joined him. When Moses finished speaking all these words to all Israel, he told them, "Set your mind on all these words I'm testifying against you right now, because you must command your children to perform carefully all the words of this instruction. This is no trivial matter for you. This is your very life. It is by this means alone that you will prolong your life on the fertile land you are crossing the Jordan River to possess. Moses' death imminent. The Lord spoke to Moses the very same day. Hike up the Abarim mountains to Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, opposite Jericho. Take a good look at the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites as their property. You will die on the mountain you have hiked up, and you will be gathered to your people just like your brother Aaron, who died on Mount Hor and was gathered to his people. Because the two of you were unfaithful toward me in front of the Israelites at the waters of Meribeth Dakasi in the Jin wilderness, because you didn't treat me with proper respect before the Israelites. You can look at the land from the other side of the river, but you won't enter there. The first heading, Moses' blessing. This is the blessing that Moses, the man of God, gave the Israelites before he died. He said, "The Lord came from Sinai. From Seir he shone like dawn on us. From Paran mountain he beamed down. Thousands of holy ones were with him. His warriors were next to him, ready. Yes, those who love the nation. All his holy ones were at your command. He followed your footsteps. They got moving when you said so." Moses gave the instruction to us. It's the prized possession of Jacob's assembly. A king came to rule in Jeshurun. When the people's leaders gathered together, when Israel's tribes were one, I pray that Reuben lives, doesn't die, though his numbers are so few. Moses said this to Judah. "Lord, listen to Judah's voice. Bring him back to his own people. Strengthen his hands. Be his help against every enemy." Then he told Levi, "Give your Tumnin to Levi, your Urim to your faithful one, the one you tested at Mashah, the one you challenged by Meribah's orders, the one who said of his own mother and father, I don't consider them as such. Of their siblings, I don't recognize them. Of their own children, I don't know them. But who obeyed your words and who guarded your covenant? They teach your case laws to Jacob, your instruction to Israel. They hold sweet incense to your nose. Put the entirely burned offering on your altar. I pray that the Lord bless Levi's strength, favors his hard work, and crushes the insides of his enemies, so that those who hate him can't fight anymore. He said to Benjamin, the Lord dearest one rests safely on him. The Lord always shielded him. He rested God's chest. Then he told Joseph, I pray that his land is blessed by God, with heaven's gifts from above, with the deep waters stretching out underneath, with the gift produced by the sun, with the gift generated by the noon, with the best fruit from ancestral mountains, with the gift of the entire hills, with the gifts of the earth and all that fill it, and the favor of the one who lives on Sinai. I pray that all this rest on Joseph's head, on the crowns of that prince among brothers. A firstborn bull, that's how majestic he is. The white ox's horns, those are his horns. With them he gores all peoples completely to the far ends of the earth. His horns are Abraham's 10 of thousands. His horns are Manasseh's thousands. Then he told Gibran, celebrate when you are out and about, Issachar. Celebrate when you are at home in your tent. They call all sort of people to the mountain, where they offer right sacrifices. It's true. They are nursed on seas abundance. They are nursed on buried treasures in the sand. Then he told God, may God's broad lands be blessed. He lives like a lion. He lifts an arm, even a head. He chose the best part for himself, because there where the commander's portion was, leaders of the people gathered together. God executed the Lord's justice and the Lord's judgment for Israel. Then he told God, Dan is a lion cub. He jumped up from Bashan. Then he told Naphtali, you are full of favor, overflowing with the Lord's blessing. Go possess the west and the south. Finally, he told Asher is the most blessed of sons. I pray that his brother's favorite, one who dips his foot in fine oil. I pray that your dad, Boaz and Ryan and Cooper, and then your strength rest all your days. Jeshurun, no one compares to God. He rises through heaven to help you, rise majestically through the clouds. The most ancient, God is the place of safety. The entire arms are a support. He drove out the enemy before you. He commanded, destroy them. So Israel now live in safety. Jacob's residence is secure in a land full of grain and wine, where the heavens drip dew. Happy are you, Israel, who is like you. You are a people saved by the Lord. He is the shield that helps you. Your majestic sword, your enemies will come crawling on their knees to you, but you will stomp on their backs. Moses' death. Then Moses hiked up from the Moabite plains to Mount Nebo, the peak of Pikash slope, which faced Jericho. The Lord showed him the whole land, the Gilead region as far as Dan's territory, all the parts belonging to Naphtali, along with the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, as well as the entire of Judah, as far as the Mediterranean Sea, also the arid southern plain, and the plain including the Jericho Valley, Palm City, as far as Jor. Then the Lord said to Moses, "This is the land that I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I promised, I will give it to your descendants. I have shown it to you with your own eyes. However, you will not cross over into it." Then Moses, the Lord's servant, died right there in the land of Moab, crossing the Lord's command. The Lord buried him in a valley in Moabite country across from Beth Bedabor. Even now, no one knows where Moses' grave is. Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eyesight wasn't impaired, and his vigor hasn't diminished a bit. Back down in Moabite plains, the Israelites mourned Moses' death for 30 days. At that point, the time for weeping and for mourning Moses was over. Joshua, Nun's son, was filled with wisdom because Moses had placed his hands on him. So the Israelites listened to Joshua, and they did exactly what the Lord commanded Moses. No prophet like Moses has yet emerged in Israel. Moses knew the Lord face to face. That's not even to mention all those signs and wonders that the Lord sent Moses to do in Egypt, to Pharaoh, to all his servants, and to his entire land, as well as all the extraordinary power that Moses displayed before Israel's own eyes.